This is President Bush's response to Hurricane Katrina by Garrett Mohr, Oceanography, Period 2. Hurricane Katrina, one of the strongest storms to impact the coast of the United States during the last 100 years. With sustained winds during landfall of 125 miles per hour, Katrina caused widespread devastation along the Gulf Coast states, particularly in New Orleans, Louisiana. The damage this natural disaster caused still has lasting effects today, and has only begun to be repaired. This raises the question, if the government had responded differently, would there still be this much damage? Early Tuesday morning, August 30th, a day after the hurricane struck, President Bush had this to say.
Take precautions because this is a dangerous storm. When the storm passes, the federal government has got assets and resources that will be deploying to help you. In the meantime, America will pray. Pray for the health and safety of all our citizens.
Turmoil broke out in New Orleans. People rushed from their homes, desperately trying to find a safe land. Meanwhile, President Bush was criticized for not returning to Washington, D.C. Instead, he stayed on his vacation in Texas until Wednesday afternoon, more than a day after the hurricane hit on Monday. His delayed response left America desolate, broken, and without a leader. Bush overflew the devastated area from Air Force One as he traveled from Texas back to Washington, D.C., and he subsequently visited the Gulf Coast on Friday and was briefed on Hurricane Katrina. Turning to his aides during the flyover, he says, "It's totally wiped out. It's devastating. It's got to be doubly devastating on the ground." Later, in a televised address from the White House, he says, "We're dealing with one of the worst national disasters in our nation's history." After this, he never recovered his reputation as an effective crisis manager or a man of empathy after Katrina.
Katrina exposed serious problems in our response capability at all levels of government. And to the extent that the federal government didn't fully do its job right, I take responsibility.
Despite a lack of initiative in his response, President Bush did allocate $10.5 billion to hurricane cleanup and relief. In the next years, he continued to use government spending to aid reconstruction and even began rebuilding houses with his own hands. Regardless of this, our nation suffered one of the worst natural disasters imaginable, and we can only pray that the recovery process continues effectively.